prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention
this time. March 31st, 2025 is when the whole procedure finishes. You won't need cash anymore. You won't even need your smartphone anymore. You will be paying with your face. The next 5 years are going to see a complete restructuring of this entire social system, and it's going to be worldwide. There's no countries that are going to escape from this. It's the entire world is going to go through this change, folks. Well, they're really pushing the second wave. They're bringing in mandatory face masks in Victoria now. They're saying the second wave is going to be tougher to deal with, of course, than the first wave. But this is just the beginning, folks. It's not going to go away. I said that months ago, this is not going to go away. They're going to release the lockdown a little bit, and then they're going to ramp it up even more. People think that, this is just a temporary thing. No, it's not. They'll find ways of extending it, but they've got to do it in ways that the people are going to go along with. So they've got to do it gradually like this, and they've got to do it under the guise of this. It's the only way they can really get away with it. It's the only way they can get people to buy into it. It's all very well for us to be pushing back, but if we don't wake up the people around us, they're going to drag us into it, whether we want to go into it or not. And there's also a new action called Protect Our Neighbours, folks. They're wonderful, aren't they? They want you to spy on your neighbours, basically, folks. Like I said, all the sleeping masses are the ones who are going to drag us into this if we're not careful. So there's now a new program whereby you can protect your neighbours by keeping an eye on them and making sure there's social distancing. Basically spying on them and dobbing them in if they're doing the wrong thing under the guise of protecting them. They're doing what they can to continue to push this whole concept of the second wave. Of course, the more people they test, then the more people are going to test positive because they're just testing for RNA viruses and genetic material. And
I reached out and touched the sky.
What makes a business
the people that are testing, the people that they're labeling as dying from, are not even deaths. And there's a lot of people speaking out about this now as well. And this is happening everywhere. It isn't just in the UK. It's happening in the United States. It's happening in Australia. All deaths are basically being labelled as deaths now, whether they are or not. All you have to do is test positive for this genetic material in your body, and they'll save them. And it doesn't matter if you get hit by a truck. They'll still put you down as a death simply because you tested positive for this genetic material at some stage, and they don't even know if the genetic material you tested positive for is actually, because there's never been a Koch's postulate done. They've never isolated or actually identified this virus as actually existing. So the whole thing's just a big scam, folks. But, that's why they're getting their second wave, because they're pushing this testing. They're making the testing mandatory. And anybody they test is pretty well going to come up positive. I mean, if a pawpaw can come up positive, if engine oil can come up positive, if you can send tests in that haven't even had anybody's, sample put on them and they still come back positive, then pretty well anybody and anything is going to test positive, folks. Most people who've had a flu vaccine will test positive. So that's how they're getting their second wave. It's just media driven. There is no second wave because there wasn't a first wave. There is no. Folks, it's a complete scam. It's all about crashing the world economic system. And it's going to get crazier and crazier yet. What they want to do, the COVID pass. I mentioned to you a few reports ago, the COVID pass they want to bring in, the mandatory pass that everybody needs to have to show they're infection-free, all the stuff they want to do. They're trialling it in Africa now. They're calling it a trust pass. Isn't that nice? A trust pass to make sure you're vaccinated. A vaccination record payment system is what they're talking about. This is the payment system. They want you to be scanned, retinal scanned, facial scanned, biometric scans, and that's how you're going to be paying. You won't need cash anymore. You won't even need your smartphone anymore. You will be paying with your face. And of course, you will need a record of vaccination in order to enter the store to begin with. And that's the way they want to play it, folks. March 31st, 2025 is when the whole procedure finishes. Interesting date, folks, 2025. We are set to be in a very, very different reality to what we are now. By 2025, the whole system will be controlled by AI. That's the way it's going. If you can understand AI, and you can understand that AI is working to gain control for itself, then you understand how these computer models work and why they're so over the top. But if you can think of a way of controlling and corralling human beings, then it all begins to make sense. It doesn't matter if the figures are wrong. They just want human consciousness to go in a certain way. And they want to merge us with the machine. And the question is, who is they? And when you look at it, folks, it's like they is now AI. The AI is already there. We're waiting for artificial intelligence to emerge, but really it's already emerged, folks. It's already there online. Artificial intelligence is already a reality. We're just not looking at things the right way. And what it's doing is it's basically creating a system whereby we are going to be completely dependent upon artificial intelligence in order to survive, in order to perform everyday activities, even going outside and purchasing a meal. You're going to need the whole thing controlled by artificial intelligence to be able to move through that reality, through the new world they're creating. The politicians, I don't even think the politicians know exactly what they're doing. I think too many people who've been involved in setting this up really bargained for what they were going to be getting. But it's going to get crazier and crazier yet. This whole economic system, it's going to go down so hard. The government's now saying, we may have misjudged how bad the economic situation is going to be. No, they haven't misjudged anything. They already knew how bad the economic situation was going to be, which is why they did all this, to cover up how bad the economic situation is going to be. They have to crash the economy, but provide an excuse for it to crash that doesn't look like it was them when it was. In 2025, when the internet becomes fully autonomic on its own and it controls things itself, the world is going to change, and our relationship with the internet is going to change. In 2015, we kind of got to the point of no return, the point where we are becoming so dependent upon the internet and so dependent upon electronic systems to manage our everyday affairs. We've kind of crossed that Rubicon, and it's only going to become more and more dependent. We're just going to see a situation where our dependency is increased upon all this technology, and that's going to go up till about 2025 when we're going to be completely dependent upon it. And at that point, the internet itself takes control of things, and then it decides who can and cannot access the internet. I really think that's the way it's going to go, folks. Prepare to step out of the system altogether, or at least be ready to be able to step out of the system around about 2025, because I think that is our window of opportunity. The next 5 years are going to be very, very telling, folks. The next 5 years are going to see a complete restructuring of this entire social system, and it's going to be worldwide. There's no countries that are going to escape from this. It's the entire world is going to go through this change, folks. And we are at the tipping point right now. So, I think it's important for people to pay attention, folks. And if you're not going to get angry and stand up and do something about this, then at least get prepared for the future that is unfolding, because if we don't change it, it's just going to unfold, and we're going to get dragged into it by all the sleeping masses. That's just the way it is. So, we have to be prepared to either go with that or have some plan B where we are in a position where we can step out of that system and step back into reality, step back into a relationship with the earth.
If someone had said to you in December that by April, millions of people all over the world would be infected with a mysterious new virus that has no vaccine, you'd think they were talking about a Hollywood script. It's happened so fast, it almost doesn't seem real.
A new normal.
A new normal.
A new normal. A new normal. New normal.
The new normal. The new normal?
The new normal. New normal.
This new normal is going to look very, very different.
Not normal, but a new normal. The new normal.
New normal. There will be a new normal.
A new normal.
New normal.
A new normal.
The new normal.
A new normal.
This is the new normal.
This is our new normal.
Our new normal.
A new normal.
Our new normal.
New normal. The new normal.
Our new normal.
So, believe it or not, this bench is what started the $7.5 million I made from my officeless agency.
Normal.
We will transition into the new normal.